Why, hello there, everybody. I have a battle for you today. That's right, I got a battle. Just to kind of hold you guys over for the meanwhile. I tried putting this in Magix, and then I realized there's one thing I didn't want to do, and then I didn't really want to also run the risk of having importing issues and getting frustrated, so I just threw it in Movie Maker. But I have a monocolor match with Chris. He wanted to do it, so it's already up on his channel. So his Meteors channel. But I chose white. I know, right? Most of those Pokemon you wouldn't even think are white, but he chose green, and that's what we are doing here. But yeah, so I will kind of address some issues toward the end of this battle, mainly concerning the Magix and LP that I would like to do, but yeah, I'll try and keep it short. But this is like my third take. I never do like multiple takes, but for some reason I do. But anyway, he's going to send out his Politoed, and I know what you're thinking. He doesn't have Drizzle. Well, he made it a while back for his theme team or for a theme team tourney from Elos like so long ago, and there was weather ban, so that's what it pretty much came up with. Meanwhile, I'm going to switch out my Frostlass, and I was thinking I should have went for Taunt on my Frostlass, and I'm like, or with my Frostlass, because I couldn't remember what set this was, perhaps. Maybe I was thinking it was like Scarfed or Specs or something. I don't know. I mean, it's Meteors. Anything is possible, so. I go into my Jellicent, which happens to take a Toxic, and I don't really care for that very much at all, so I'm already kind of being whittled down with toxic damage and stoof, and yeah. In comes this Mega, which I'm like, well, crap, I really don't want to deal with this because too many speed boost and I'm gonna get swept. Because I don't really have too many things that can take too many hits from this, like, pretty well. So I'm like, okay. I don't have Ice Beam on this thing. I have like Scald Hex, Toxic, and Recover. Yes, so I have. And that's specially defensive, I believe. I think that's what I made it. Pretty sure. Yes. But yeah. So anyway, I'm being very slowly whittled down, and with the toxic damage, and pretty much I tried to get a burn off, and it's pretty much kind of what happened. So I was kind of happy I got double down. Otherwise, it would have been a good game from there because I'm just like, that would have been bad. But anyway, he goes into his Reuniclus or whatever this thing is called. And I'm going to take a side shock. I don't really want to take any more. I took it, pretty alright, but I'm going to get out of there. My sash is pretty much broken at this point. But I'm going to take another side shock with my Meloetta. I went for the taunt earlier because I thought maybe he was a calm mindset. He does reveal to me later that he actually is. I mean, I was right. He just went for a different move. But so yeah, so he's gonna switch out, and I'm gonna go for a workup, and it's pretty much my turn to get some revenge. So I'm just gonna go for the psychic, and I mean this thing is pretty. I go for workup pretty much for when I use relics on to switch over for close combat. I have at least a +1. This is I put workup over calm mind, so I think the stats are like the same as calm mindset. I think. I don't actually remember what I made my stats, but um, if they're the same as the calm mindset, then that's what they are. So anyway, he sends out his Flygon, and I'm like, ooh, crap! I didn't realize he'd be faster, or maybe I wasn't sure. I know he doesn't run Scarf or anything. I was thinking at the moment for a second maybe he did, and I'm like, no, he's just naturally faster. So I gotta get out of here. And I'm going to go into what I think at the time is my physically defensive um, Amoonguss, but I find out from that hit that's my specially defensive Amoonguss. I'm like, you normally take that a lot better, Amoonguss. I think you're the specially defensive set. And pretty much is, because I checked afterward and it was. I'm like, oh crap, I brought the wrong one. But it doesn't really, I mean, it does matter, but I misclick here and I go for Synthesis. I meant to go for Spore, but I meant to go for like Spore then Synthesis, but it's pretty much happens. But he has me go to Fire Blast, and since I am specially defensive, at least I can sponge that a little bit better. But now I go for Spore, and now he's asleep. So that's pretty much going to force him to switch out. Or trying to force him to switch out, I guess. And he kind of does. That's what he chooses to do. And he's going back into his Renucleus. I'm like, I should have saved Spore for this thing. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, it does, because now that I'm not really specially, since I'm not my physically defensive set, I'm not going to sponge a Psyshock as well as I would like to. I mean, I doubt I would sponge it well anyway, since I'm already weak to it, but I definitely want to get out of there as fast as I possibly can. So he's going to set up a Calm Mind as I go into my Zangoose. I'm like, I didn't think this one through, because he probably has Hidden Power Fighting. But at least I get the Toxic boost. At least I get my Toxic Orb activated, and I'm going to switch out currently into my Volcarona, which I do predict correctly. Okay. Excuse me. And I do take a Hidden Power Fighting. I'm just going to pretty much start setting up here Quiver Dances, as he already has a +1. I'm like, let me try and even up with him. But he goes for like a second Calm Mind. I'm like, okay, so at this point we're at a +2 here for him and a +1 for me. I'm like, this isn't good. So now I'm at a +2, but I'm thinking in my mind that I actually have... I'm not thinking at the time what Psyshock is going to do, because that's pretty much what's happening at this point. I know he has Psyshock, but it's not registering what side it hits until I'm like, oh wait, that's a bad idea, huh? Because it's gonna hit you defensively, and it's still gonna pretty much kill you, like, badly. So that, I pretty much just wasted my Volcarona. I'm like, wow, that was really stupid. It just didn't register, and it didn't click right away. I'm like, it's okay. But anyway, I bring in my Zangoose, kind of hoping, even though it doesn't have Swords Dance up, but I'm just really hoping I can just take the majority of its bulk, or majority of its HP away with a Facade, and I do just narrowly miss taking it out, and it's gonna kill me with a Hidden Power Fighting. I'm thinking at this point it could be over. I'm like, I don't like this. So I sent out my Frostlass, just thinking I don't have Shadow Ball on this particularly last. I have Ice Beam, and I have Destiny Bond, Spikes, and Taunt. But even with the 49 HP he said he had left over, it does take him out with even after being like at +3 or something. I'm like, I'm surprised actually, because I thought he would have taken that. I thought he still would have taken that actually. Like, well, I'm like, I probably won't kill you, even though you're probably in red. It's like, no, you'll kill me. I'm like, oh, look at that, I did. But anyway, sends his Virizion, which is pretty much just going to be eating up some Ice Beams, like, all day. Well, not all day, but he's not. I mean, I want this to do more, but it's just not killing him yet. But he's got, I think, a +2 up at this point. Wait, does he have a +1 or a +2? I wasn't paying attention with that Calm Mind yet. I think he had a +1 up. But he takes me out with Giga Drain, and he regains some health. So I'm like, whatever. But I'm gonna send back in my Meloetta, and this pretty much is a good game at this point, because now he just has a sleeping Flygon left. So yeah, it's a good game, hun. And I'm just going to start, addressing some issues. Okay, so with the Let's Play that I would like to do, I would like to fix these rendering issues. I'm trying to get them fixed. I'm getting a new power supply so I can install a new video card in my computer. My power supply I have now is fine, actually. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I just needed a new cable and to hook up the video card. And Chris just said instead of ordering a new cable, because I couldn't find the other cable because it happened to be with the box, and I don't know what happened to the box at all, which is very unlike me because I usually don't lose the box, but I'm not really going to ramble. But so going to get all that, just going to do some tweaks and some upgrades on the computer. Try and get the rendering issues fixed as well. That's #1 priority. I really would like to fix those. Even if I can't get them fixed, I would very much like to record some episodes anyway even if I can't fix it in time, just put it in Magix, save them, and then once I get the rendering issues fixed and like figured out, I will upload them as soon as I possibly can because I'm very determined to do this Let's Play. I really am. And Chris says not to because he says I'm going to stress myself out over it. Some people just aren't meant for Let's Plays, which is probably true, but I'm going to be a little bit stubborn about this one. Even if it's just one Let's Play that I do, I want it to be this one. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really would like to do this. But I also have to get ready. I wanted to like to get all my Pokemon like fixed and transferred over to 6th Gen as soon as possible. As well, would like to fix them up and maybe like weed some out as well because some of those sets are really old and I just don't use them as much as I like anymore. So I'm gonna pretty much just do my best and get everything straightened out. And until next time, guys, I will keep you